Joining us to talk about this is Heidi Hamilton of Dish Nation and KLOS's Frosty, Heidi, and Frank show. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, we start with Shia.
Yeah.
He's calling his behavior a new low. What would you call it?
Well, listen, he's had some low times before. He's had to apologize a lot of times before to a lot of people. And I think, too, he's on this movie. The movie's called The Peanut Butter Falcon. I couldn't even begin to tell you what that plot is. But he's on that movie. He's in Georgia. And everybody on the movie says, you know what? Whatever you've heard about Shia LaBeouf about being a problem, he's shown up. He said hi to everybody, very friendly, shown up on time, caused no problems, and then he had a day off on Saturday, went out drinking, and that seems to be when he gets in the most trouble. When he drinks too much and then has a confrontation. I think the whole night started with him asking a police officer for a cigarette. Then he started screaming horrible racial things.
Things he said to those officers.
Oh, yeah, things he said to the officers are horrible. And now, of course, he's blaming alcohol. He's apologized for what he said. Why I hate that is because I don't buy the alcohol thing. I mean, yes, I think a lot of times you can't just blame the alcohol and go, oh, I'm sorry, when I drink I say that. I think that kind of stuff is in you, and you know, alcohol brings the truth out. And so I think for him to just be like, oh, I'm sorry, just blame the alcohol and I'm going to go to rehab and everything will be fine. I don't think you can just kind of brush it off that easily.
Right.
But he's had to, so he's apologized to them. He's going to be back on the set. And because they do still have some time left on the movie, but he's had to apologize a lot in the past.
Not just alcohol. He said he's been publicly battling addiction.
Right, but we're not sure exactly what that means. Is it prescription meds mixed with alcohol? Is it, I mean, who knows what that means? But we definitely do know Saturday night anyway, he was intoxicated big time.
It's a business of comebacks, and oftentimes people serve their time in the penalty box and then they come back.
Yeah.
But in this case, I mean, some of what he said was racially very abusive.
It was, yeah, and I think, too, I think it just depends on who you are. I mean, Mel Gibson said some racially awful things, too, and it took a little time. But now people are like, oh, Mel's got another movie.
It took a while, though.
It did take a while, and it's Mel Gibson. Not that I'm putting Shia LaBeouf and Mel Gibson in the same category, but I think as long as Shia LaBeouf straightens his act out and then is still able to bring people to the box office, and people do forgive for that kind of stuff.
Right, and Mel Gibson had a hit, as you're pointing out.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, Mel Gibson came back, and people seem to forgive. But you can't keep messing up over and over and over again. I mean, and he apologizes a lot. He apologized to Alec Baldwin a while ago because they were doing a play together. And then they had creative differences, and then he just left the play. And it's like you just walk off of, you know, that's totally unprofessional. So he apologized to Alec Baldwin, but the apology that he gave to Alec Baldwin, he stole from Esquire magazine. He had to apologize to Taylor Swift for something, and he plagiarized that apology. I mean, he does a lot of that. Like, he's a little bit of a mess right now. Can he come back? I think he needs to go away for a while.
So too soon for apology. All right.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Moving on to another story. Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg made a movie about 9/11.
Yeah, you know, if you read about this, as I did today online, people are not looking forward to it at all. I mean, they're like, it's the 16th anniversary. They're going to release it on September 8th, which, of course, is 3 days before September 11th. Whoopi Goldberg, Gina Gershon, Charlie Sheen. And this story, it's called 9/11, but they kind of lifted it from a play called Elevator. It was a play that they pieced together all the voicemails that people had left, who were on the plane, left for their loved ones, and they made that into a play. Well, then he's in this film, and this is sort of based on that, but it follows 5 characters that are in an elevator inside a World Trade Center. And so how they get to know each other and those storylines and how they're trying to bond and maybe get out. They don't know if they're going to get out at that point, of course. And so it's that story. But people are like, is anybody looking for this? And Charlie Sheen's doing it in a weird way because for years he thought that it was an inside job, that it wasn't done by terrorists, that it was, you know, a controlled explosion. And so he's been very vocal about not even believing 9/11 is what we think
so
it is.
So it seems like an odd choice because if you've been at the front and you've been declaring what he has been
and
for the
Whoopi
last
Goldberg,
decade,
same thing. Whoopi Goldberg is a
and now all of a sudden he's trying to take a more poignant look at it.
Right. It's kind of hard for people to believe.
It's conflicted.
Yes, and that's what everybody online has been talking about. Like, this is a weird movie for him to make when he doesn't even believe what happened. Well, and now he's going to tell this story.
How'd the play do?
I'm not sure how the play did, but I think it's interesting because the play was about the voicemail calls, and this movie is about the lives of these 5 people. So I'm not sure even how close to the play Elevator it's going to be anyway, because it sounds like it's just the story of these 5 people.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know if I don't even know that it's going to go into the movie theater. I think it's going to go straight to video on demand, which is what a lot of people do now anyway. But, I mean, I don't think you're like, hey, let's grab some popcorn and go see 9/11. I don't think people are real excited to go see that.
But Charlie Sheen's return to dramatic storytelling.
Right. He's been sort of out and doing his own thing for a while. He was on Anger Management, his show. That went away. So he hasn't really done anything in a while. So this will be his first thing back. I don't know. I kind of like him in comedies better.
All right, Heidi, thank you much. You can hear Heidi every morning on Frosty, Heidi, and Frank weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 95.5 KLOS. And see her weeknights right here, 6:30 and 11:30 in Dish Nation. Thanks, Heidi, for coming in.
Thank you.
Good to see you.